And when you're arriving to the property, if you come down just past here, you follow this road for free parking just down the hill. And if you follow this just another 100 yards, that you get to the car park on the left hand side, which has around 80 spaces for you to park for free. And it's only a 2-minute walk from the apartment. And on the left hand side, you come down to the car park. Again, has around 80 spaces for you to park in, all for free, just in here. Please just make sure you park in the bays and just take note of the local signage. And when exiting the car park to head to the apartment,
So for accessing the key box on your arrival, the key box is located on the left hand side and it is the second one down, so it's just this one with the black leather cover. You lift the little tab and pull on the cover. This will expose the keypad for you. You'll then put in the code which will be sent to you in your welcome back information, and after entering this information you'll turn the knob to the right and this will open the key box for you, where you'll be able to collect your keys. After collecting your keys, if you can just make sure to close the key box, turn the knob to the left and this will lock it. Also make sure to press the little tab and closing the cover afterwards. Once you've collected your keys, you'll want to take the key to the front door. This door sometimes is unlocked, however if it is not unlocked, you'll take the middle key from your set to unlock it. And this will unlock the door for you to be able to enter into the communal close. Upon entering the building, you'll want to take a walk over to your right hand side.
and for our laundry room, if you take this key, turn to the door and turn to the left, we have our washing machine, hoover and mop. To work the washing machine, you can pull the drawer here, you have your main detergent in this section and your fabric softener in this section. To open and close the door, just pulls open and pushes closed. And to work the washing machine, just turn to any of your desired settings. And the machine comes on, and then you press the start button, just here. And to turn off, just here. For the light switch, it's just the little switch just here.
Front door, which is located here. You'll then take the same set of keys that you've already got, and you'll take one key to unlock this lock here. Just insert it and turn it anti-clockwise, and you'll see this door unlocking there. You'll then take the other key for the top lock, which you'll insert like this, turn again anti-clockwise, and it will push to open for you to enter into the apartment. For closing the front door as you come in, you just push the door to a close. The top lock, which is a Yale, will automatically latch when you come in and push the door closed, and you just take the little thumb turn here, turn this clockwise to lock the bottom lock. There's also a snip here which you can use, pop in a little hole and hold down for extra security during your stay as well. As you enter the apartment, you'll find the light switches on the right hand side as you come in, which you can switch all of these on. As you enter the apartment, you'll be greeted by the warm and cosy atmosphere in our little studio apartment. On the left hand side as you come in, you'll be able to find where you'll be able to store all of your personal belongings during your stay, with the chest of drawers and hanging space just to the left of that. On the hanging space, you will also find the Wi-Fi router for internet access during your stay. For the Wi-Fi, you can get the details by either coming to the hub, which is to the left hand side of the TV, and getting the details from the underneath of the hub, which can be found here, or alternatively, we'll leave this little sky card here. You can scan this QR code to connect to the Wi-Fi on your phone. Coming into the kitchen area, this is where you'll find all the facilities you may require during your stay for cooking and prepping any food during your stay. The microwave, which can be found on the left hand side of the kitchen, is fairly simple to operate. To open, you just pull the door open, put your food in, close the door, select your heat setting from low to defrost, medium high and high, and you just turn the timer knob for minutes, from 1 all the way around to 35 minutes. Once it finishes, then make a little ding, open up the microwave and take your food out and enjoy. For the toaster, you'll choose your setting for how toasted you want it, from 1 through till 7, and you'll then also be able to press buttons for defrosting, reheating, and also cancelling the toast when it's in. Once you've put your toast in the machine, you'll press down the button, it will click to engage. You can then press these buttons if you want to defrost, or also if you want to reheat. To cancel, press the cancel button and it will pop the toast back out for you. To use the hob, press this button on the right, just tap it to turn it on. You should have a display similar to this. However, there may be times where it may have been a previous guest or may have been yourself accidentally that pressed this lock button on the left hand side. If the hob displays the LO symbol, it means it's currently locked and you'll not be able to adjust either of the hob rings or use any of the temperature controls for them. This means that until you've turned that lock off, effectively you will not be able to use the hob. To disengage the lock, you just take your finger over the lock button and hold it down for a few seconds. You'll then hear a little beep. The yellow symbol disappears. At this point you can then tap these hobs for the left hand side, which is the lower ring, this one which is the upper ring, and you can press up while it's flashing to turn the hobs up in temperature or down. Again, you just tap these to select while they're flashing to adjust up or down. When you're finished, you just press this button to turn it off. To use the oven, which can be found underneath the induction hob and to the right hand side of the fridge freezer, you'll use these controls here to control the temperature, if you want to put a timer on, and then which setting you want to use. Turning this knob to the right engages the light inside the oven. This is for the defrosting option. This turns the fan on, and this is the grill for the oven. Turning it back to the original position turns the oven back off again. Using this knob here, you can turn the clock to run on a timer for as long as 60 minutes. And again, when it reaches 0, it will make a little ring for you. This knob on the right will be used for controlling your temperature in degrees Celsius all the way up to 250 degrees. To open the oven, you just pull down on the handle and you'll find the oven gloves as well as any trays for use during your stay. Above the hob you will find the extractor fan. The control switch can be found just here. On the left hand side this is on 0, so this is turn it off. 1 is a low fan speed, 2 is it higher, 3, and the 4th button turns on the lights for you for helping operate the food. Again, to turn it off, you just press the button on the left hand side and that turns it off, and you push the button for the light to turn the light off. To use the kettle, you take it off its stand, press this button to open it up, fill it up with water in the sink, close the lid back over, pop it back over onto its mount, and flick the little switch down, it will turn blue. Once it has finished boiling the water for you, that will automatically click off and go to enjoy a nice warm cup of tea or coffee. To use the Nespresso coffee machine, the first thing you want to make sure is that you have enough water in the rear tank. To take this off and check, you'll want to lift this lid, which pops it out from its holding position. You'll be able to lift it right off after that, take it over to the sink to then fill it up with any water that you may require. Once you've filled it up with water, you'll take it back over, sit it on the back, and then you'll want to be sure to click it back into position where it will lock, at which point you'll then grab one of the coffee pods that we have provided for you, which can be found in your welcome pack. On the left hand side over here, you will lift up the little tab here. There's a little coffee pod shaped section here for you to drop the coffee pod into, at which point you'll then close the lid down all the way until it closes shut, at which point the coffee pod is now pierced, and you will then be able to take a cup, sit it underneath here, and press either the small or large cup for how much coffee you want to display. Depending on the size of cup you're using, you may have to remove the little tray here to do so. This just slides in and off as you may require, depending again on the size of coffee cup that you are using. For the hot water in the sink, you will just pull the tap towards you, and then you will then turn the tap to the right for hot water and to the left for cold water. Turn it off, you just push it away from you, and that will cut the supply of water to the tap. To the left hand side of the sink and the right hand side of the hob, you will find a couple of holders for your cutlery and kitchen utensils. To the left of these, you will then find the Nespresso Coffee machine, kettle, welcome pack supplies, kitchen knives, as well as kitchen roll. To the left hand side of the kitchen and the under unit cabinet, behind this door here, you'll find a door for the fridge with all of the various storage that you'll require. You'll also find on top here a little shelf which you can pop open. There's a small freezer compartment for you to use during your stay. To adjust any of the controls in the freezer and the fridge, use this button selection up here to do so. In the cupboard on the left hand side, this is where you will find mugs, as well as espresso cups, casserole dishes, chopping boards, as well as a first aid kit for your stay. On the right hand side cupboard, you will find saucers, plates, salt and pepper bowls, wine glasses, and regular glasses as well for you to enjoy during your stay. For the kitchen bins, these are located just to the right hand side of the sink. Use little foot pedals to open each compartment for disposing of any rubbish during your stay. If you ever have any issues with the lights or any of the electrical appliances in the apartment, the fuse box can be located in this cupboard here, just off to the right of the kitchen and to the left of the front door as you come in. The fuse box is located here. You lift up the cover and this is all labelled for you to show which each of the fuses are. If any of these fuses are in the down position, that means that they have tripped. You just have to push them back up to reset the fuse. If they pop back down again, please get in touch with us for us to resolve this issue. Located to the right and left hand sides of the bed, you'll find the light switches for controlling the lights above each side of the bed. Using the switches on either side, you'll be able to switch the lights on depending on who wants to use them and when they want to use them during your stay. Opposite the bed is where you'll find the TV sat on top of the dresser. To the left of the TV, you'll find the remotes for the TV, which you'll use to be able to access the various different channels and entertainment packages that we offer. Using the Toshiba remote, you'll want to press the on button to turn the TV on. You'll then want to press the on button on the Sky Puck remote to bring on the Sky Puck. From here you'll be able to access Netflix, as well as a plethora of other channels like BBC One and STV during your stay. Located within the dresser, in the bottom drawer on the left hand side, is where you will find the iron as well as your hairdryer for use during your stay. Located to the left of the left hand side curtain, you can also find 3 switches which are used to control the same lights throughout the apartment as the switches as you come in the front door. For the curtains, these are just on a rail, so you just have to pull to close these as you see fit during your stay. On the left hand side of the bed is where you will find the back door as well as the fire extinguisher for the apartment. The fire extinguisher can be found down here on the right hand side of the door. The back garden is generally not for guest access, however it is an escape route if required. To unlock the door, turn the lock anti-clockwise and push to open the door. You can then go out this back door and go up these steps to then escape out of the property in the event of a fire. To lock this door, just take the key, turn it anti-clockwise to lock again. Just make sure to give a little push to make sure that it is locked. To control the heating in the apartment, please use this thermostat, which can be found to the left hand side of the back door and to the right hand side of the bathroom. The most common setting that you will likely use is the auto setting, which is the top button on the slider. You can adjust this to different modes, including all the way off, by sliding the slider up and down. In the automatic mode, the boiler will ramp to whichever temperature that you set by turning the temperature up or back down. For example, I have this now set to ramp to 21 degrees Celsius, and the current temperature once it reverts back to the next display is staying at 21.5, so that is the current temperature inside the apartment. For the other temperature controls, there is the sun mode, which if you flick it down to the sun setting, which is one tick down, this temperature will be whichever temperature is on the right hand side, which is here. So that will then ramp down to 18 degrees Celsius. For the evening mode, you'll put that down again, which will be 23 degrees. You will then take the slider on the left hand side down to the moon setting. To turn the heating off entirely, you just pop the slider onto the standby position. This will turn the heating off in its current state and means there will be no active heating of the radiators. However, you will still have access to hot water should you require it. For the boiler, this can be found to the left hand side of the thermostat and the right hand side of the bathroom. There's two doors which block off the cupboard. You just pull these open to have access to the boiler. Should you have any need to fill up the pressure in the system, there's this little black pressure loop valve. You just twist this on the right about 15 to 20 degrees, at which point the pressure in the system will start to rise. This you want to have sat between approximately 1 and 2 bar, so once it gets to between 1 and 2 bar, you close off the valve again just by pushing it clockwise. Before entering the bathroom, you will find the light switch on the left hand side, as well as the isolator switch for the extractor fan. We recommend keeping the extractor fan on whenever you're having a shower or using hot water, as this prevents condensation in the property. Coming into the bathroom, you'll find the towel rail on the right hand side, followed by the sink, where you'll be able to find your extra roll of toilet roll, as well as your hand soap. And then to the left of this you'll find the toilet, and then panning over to the left hand side, you'll have the shower itself, as well as a little hook to the left hand side for hanging the penny towels or clothes when you're inside the bathroom. To open the shower door, you just pull on the handle, the magnetic lock will disconnect, and you pull this open to access the shower. For the shower, you will use the two controls which can be found on the left and right hand side of the shower. The left hand side is used for controlling heat, which if you push the button underneath, which I'm missing here, as you push that in and turn it towards you, this will engage hot water. You then just push this up to go hotter, and equally so, if you want it to be colder, you push it back down, what will then get to a point where it will stop, which is about the middle here. Again, you then push the button and push it in the other direction to get more cold water running into the system. For controlling the flow of water into the rain shower or the handheld shower, you'll want to use the same system on the right hand side. If you push the button and pull it towards you, to turn the knob towards you, this will activate the handheld shower. And again, if you push this back down to here, this will stop the water running to that, at which point again you'll need to press the button underneath and turn it away from you to then access the water for the rain shower. To lock the bathroom door, you just pull the handle towards you to close the door, at which point you turn the lock clockwise to engage the lock, and then so anti-clockwise to disengage the lock to the bathroom door. To adjust the radiator temperatures, which can be found on the left hand side of the radiator, you will adjust the thermostatic valve down here. You will turn it to a lower number if you want less heat to come out from the radiator. The ice symbol here is effectively for during the winter. It provides a slow amount of hot water to prevent any freezing of the pipes. So please ask that at no times do you put this on 0, as that will mean no hot water at all will run into the radiator system. The higher the number, which the maximum of which is 5, will issue the most heat, and again this will come down to personal preference per each guest as to how hot or cold you would want the temperature on the radiator to be. When you are vacating the apartment, we would kindly ask that you ensure that all lights are turned off before vacating. Again, by using the switches on the left hand side of the front door, you can flick all these to the off position. To vacate the apartment, you'll need to turn the thumb turn lock clockwise to unlock, and then again clockwise in the yellow lock to also unlock, at which point the door should pull open for you to exit the apartment. Upon exiting the apartment, making sure to close the door behind you. The top lock should just latch shut as you pull the door shut. However, if you take the other key, insert it into the lock as so, and turn this clockwise until you hear a click, and then remove the key from the lock, at which point you can then exit the apartment back out the front door. Upon departure, we kindly ask that all guests return the keys back to the key box that you collected them from, which again is the bottom key box with the rubber cover. To access, same as before, where you lift the tab and pull the cover towards you, which exposes the keypad for you to insert the code, which will be the same one as upon check-in. You'll then insert the code into the keypad, turn the lock clockwise to unlock, and when putting the keys back in, there's a little hook at the top for you to put your keys on, as so, at which point you can lift the door back up, turn it anti-clockwise, and hear a little click as you do so, just giving the little tab a couple of pushes to clear the code, before closing up and vacating.
And for general waste, if you come around the corner, just into the left hand side here, you can see all the bins just here. So the grey bin, general waste, and then you've got your green recycling in the board in the green bin. Thank you for staying with us at Juniper Rentals. We hope to welcome you back soon.